then
in
we
this
don't
cups.
get no sleep.
I'ma need the goddamn musical.
I mean, somebody ain't playing their
leave the
job. Somebody
building.
ain't doing their job. They used to play music, but they don't do that no more. Let's do it.
Welcome to another episode of Diva Court. We're still not canceled.
We should just, like... cut
We're
and
not
paste.
canceled. And to be honest, with this co-diva, I am surprised.
What are you supposed to mean?
A lot. I'm your host, Marsha Mignot, and here with me is my co-diva that comes with a disclaimer.
I'm a no-limit soldier.
I thought I told you.
I told you. You see,
Not two.
You can tell I'm a soldier by my army fatigue. I did that. Hey, it's just
You
that.
can tell she's a soldier by her craziness.
By her inconsistencies.
We are not responsible for the things we're going to say.
Or do we care about your feelings?
We do not own the rights to anything we're going to talk about.
Or are we liable for your feelings?
Because this show is for edutainment purposes.
Only. Yo.
You're not going to say edutainment?
Entertainment.
Never mind. Even with a mask, she can't get it right.
That's okay.
Please look for our episodes every Wednesday. And don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe.
Find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts.
Apple. You did that out of order. You out of order.
Hey, let me tell you something. You're out of order. That's really what's
you're
out of order.
You're out of order.
Find our videos on YouTube. Don't forget to jump on there and check your divas out so you can put a pretty face. Two pretty faces to the voices. Okay? So don't just listen to us. Join us. Find us. Look us up.
Yes.
Find the video, look at the video, and comment if you want us to talk about something. We're here for you.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna educate while we educate.
What we gonna do?
We're gonna educate.
We're gonna
No, she's
aggravate.
gonna educate. She's gonna
agitate.
edutate while we edutate.
You just out here making all the words up.
We have to.
We're gonna have to put a Diva Court
edutate and
dictionary.
oh, of course. Absolutely, listeners. We'll put a dictionary out there for you. Don't forget our sponsor, Hey Curl.
I got that shirt on though.
Hey Curl, hey, take your survey, get your free sample. Use your DIVAFREE code at heycurl.shop. Click the link for the description, people, and you too can look as beautiful as these two divas.
Yes.
I use Hey Curl products in anything I put in my hair.
That's what's
Weave,
up.
braids, tree braids, regular hair, natural hair, blow dried hair. That's how good the product is.
Whoop, there
Hey,
it
that
is.
leave-in conditioner, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I swear by it. Put it in your hair. Men, you can put it in your hair.
Yeah.
Who needs to have nappy naps? You don't need nappy
Naps is good. Nap and snaps. But you want them to be soft
No,
and
but
gentle.
that's soft naps.
Yeah.
You don't want to cut her fingers up when she's trying to
You don't
run
wanna be
her
like,
fingers
"Eh."
through your hair. I'm telling you, man, you'll attract the women. Wink, wink. Make sure you get you some leave-in conditioner from heycurl.shop. All right. Are we starting with topic number 1 today? The COVID-19 pill from Merck is out.
That's what I've been waiting for. I knew it. Something was coming down the pipeline.
I know what's coming down that pipeline, but I doubt it's Merck and their pill.
Yeah. The FDA
Why would we wait?
Excuse me?
Can you give the listeners a rationale, co-diva, regarding why that's what you were waiting for?
I don't need no extra chemicals in my body.
And a pill is not.
Only if I need it. If I don't need it, I don't want
Oh, so the pill for you is on an as needed
Yes.
basis.
Yes.
And that makes you more comfortable.
it. Correct.
So why are you treating COVID like this pill like a?
I treat it like a cold. It's like the flu. We treating the
Why are you
symptoms.
treating it like a morning after pill?
I had my share though. So- no abortions, but you get that pill
Let me tell you
though.
something. Hypocrisy at its highest level. If I took the pill, it's not an abortion, okay? That's like saying it's not a life, it's notarized.
It's like an early period, you know?
Honey bun.
It just dissolves it right
Listen
quick.
to me.
It's an early
Listeners,
period.
according to Dr. Fauci, you should not be using the pill as a morning after pill.
Dr.
okay?
Fauci shouldn't even be speaking on this. He should let the FDA handle it. Stop putting your input into stuff when you don't know. Wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. We don't need a vaccination. We need a vaccination. He all over the place. Stay
When
in your
did
lane.
Dr. Fauci ever
He
say
said
you
that.
don't need a vaccination?
He said that early in the beginning.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
You would
I'ma
have
have
to
to look it up.
substantiate that. Yes, ma'am.
I'll look it up for
because
next
I don't
time.
remember any time that he said you don't need a vaccine. I
You
remember
remember
him
him saying-
talking about the mask.
What I'm
And
saying,
I do remember them saying, "Oh, you really don't need it. Just leave it for healthcare workers." I think though that was intellectual dishonesty, which is my favorite word. When I know that people who are smart enough to know better do things that they are more
So he can't be
intelligent in
trusted
doing.
is what you're
No,
saying.
my point is, I think he wanted to keep people from panicking and buying up all the masks and keeping the healthcare workers from being able to access the masks, knowing that the masks were built where or designed and produced where? China. So because he knew there was going to be a supply and demand issue, by telling people run out and go buy masks. Look what they did with toilet paper. Somebody just said toilet paper. According to one of our late night hosts, and I agree with him, he said evidently COVID scares the shit out of you.
Really?
That's why everybody is buying up the toilet paper. So
I just
my
think-
point is, do you see what happened to toilet paper and paper towels?
I think that Dr. Fauci should stay out of scientific business.
Why do we call him doctor? I'm sorry. Why are we
You ain't
calling?
gonna cough over there.
We calling the
What I'm
infectious
saying is-
disease expert. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me give you while the producers pick himself up off the floor. The
Stay out of scientific business, Dr. Fauci.
the infectious disease expert is Dr. Fauci. Scientific is his business.
He did a bang up job with AIDS, didn't he?
Look here.
He was back there. He did a great job
Dr.
with that.
Fauci says
He did
stay
a great
focused.
job with COVID.
He says stay focused. His expertise is in infectious disease. He spent his entire career focusing on infectious disease.
Right.
And you're asking him to leave that business alone?
No, what I'm saying is this. There is a company with their scientists who know the information, who know the data. There's an FDA, which is a government organization. They have a conversation. He does not need to be involved in that conversation. Have a opinion after the FDA makes a decision. Stop involving yourself in stuff that ain't your business.
That is his business.
I'm not even finished. And so let's talk about Dr. Fauci, because Dr. Fauci was the same one in charge of the AIDS epidemic. He didn't do a good job with that. Ask the gays. And Dr. Fauci didn't do a good job with. He been with COVID since the beginning. He ain't doing a good job. We still losing
I think the
people.
beginning for
So,
COVID was yesterday.
All I'm saying is this.
COVID is not that old, my dear.
I
It's
know,
not
but
even a
he's been
year
there
old
since
yet.
the beginning. And if he's been so involved in infectious diseases, then he should have made a better plan. I watched Outbreak, okay? Dustin Hoffman.
I think you did
on
watch.
Outbreak.
I think you did watch Outback.
Outback.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Dustin Hoffman.
Is it Outback Steakhouse?
No. Outbreak. Dustin Hoffman on Outbreak was the Dr. Fauci of the movie. He was really good. He held it down.
Oh, so
He
you gonna
solved
call
the
Dustin
problem.
to help you out with this?
Now, man, need to, because he did a better job.
Well, I'm gonna need you to get to real life and forget about fiction. Listeners, we're gonna come back to real life events. Dr.
You
Fauci.
think that he should involve himself into
Well, here's why I
scientific-
don't
he
have a
the
problem
data.
with him commenting, because he has the credentials to comment on whether or not he thinks a pill is a good idea.
Time
now,
out.
his
Ooh,
whole
ooh,
statement.
ooh, time
his
out.
whole
Ooh,
statement.
please.
Put your military boots down and get to the point.
I know that if you had a case before a judge where it was you and the judge, right? And an attorney who had nothing to do, wasn't the prosecutor, wasn't the assistant counsel of the prosecutor, wasn't nobody that had anything to do with the case, stood up and started speaking on on your behalf, or just talking about a situation that had nothing to do with you, you would have shut them down.
Well, let me fix that for you. Not if they're an expert and the expert was called to testify.
He wasn't called
Just
to
like
testify.
yes, he was. He was on.
Oh, okay.
He
I
was
guess you got me
on
on
the
there.
show, and they asked the question, Dr. Fauci, you're on as a guest. Please respond to this new pill. What do you think about it? Think it's a fantastic idea. Anything that's going to stop people from dying of this God forbidden disease is always a good idea. What I want your listeners to know, though, I'm not endorsing them to run out like you want to do and say, I'll just wait until I catch COVID, then I'll do the morning after pill, and I'm going to be intimate with COVID tonight, and then tomorrow I want to make sure I don't have COVID's baby. And what I'm telling you is, when COVID gets you, you intimate with COVID, there's no telling. That pregnancy could cost you your life, okay? When you deliver COVID in the ICU, if you make it out,
You deliver it.
when you deliver it,
So it's a 50-50 chance.
there's all shots that
Hey.
you might not make it out of that
If there's
delivery
a
room.
50-50 chance that you will die from having a baby, my odds are good then, because I survived all 3 of my kids.
Where are you getting your odds from, first of all, regarding having a baby?
50-50.
You just made it up?
That's what they say, right?
You just made it up. They who?
I heard the people in the streets.
I'm gonna need her to get that information from other than the streets, because it sounds like it's Sesame Street.
The people in the streets. Ain't that, y'all never heard that before?
Look, Ernie, you can't get your.
Do they have credentials? They have a PhD?
Oh no, they don't have to have a PhD, but they can be in PhD business now.
I mean, see, y'all don't let me use my tablets and my iPhone so I can be looking stuff up.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay. Well, save it for the next show.
I guess
when
I
you
have
come
to put
back
my notes
on
together. I
episode
can't. I'm
20
gonna forget what notes I need to put together.
This is episode.
Oh, the
23.
vaccination.
Uh-huh.
I gotta see if Dr. Fauci said that. Oh, we don't need no vaccination, so I need to figure that out.
Yes. Yes.
I think
fact
Sean
checking.
Hannity-
We're gonna fact
I think
check.
Sean
you.
Hannity said that. That's where I got that from. You know,
She's
I be
getting her
listening-
news from Fox News,
I
which
know.
is not news.
I don't be listening to Fox News. I listen to 95.5 on my
Oh,
drive.
and they play Hannity for you?
Yeah, so it starts with like Eric Erickson, and then it goes into Hannity, and then it goes into Mark Arum, and then it goes back into Hannity, and then it goes into Word on the Street. I like that.
So
It's a good drive.
Please, people, please don't use this pill as a morning after pill. I know my co-diva is thinking about using it as her morning after pill, and I'm telling you, that is dangerous.
What happened to trust the science?
We're trusting the science, but the science hasn't been approved yet.
Okay, but
We're not saying
We're
if
looking for
it's, we're
emergency.
not saying people don't take this pill.
do you know?
That's not what we're saying.
Do you
We're
know-
saying people don't wait till
Don't
you
wait to
catch
get it.
COVID to try to prevent COVID
Do you know
from
that
killing you.
if they have this pill, they're not going to be able to mandate the vaccination?
Let me tell you something about the federal government. When you use the word pandemic, they're extremely powerful people.
I know, but if there are
They've
alternatives,
mandated other vaccines before.
No. If there are no other alternatives, they can mandate it. But there are other
But
alternatives.
it's not an alternative.
It's not an alternative
Why is it not?
because it's after you catch it, and the vaccine is before you catch it.
But the
a symptom.
vaccination is you can still catch it.
No. But this pill is you could still die.
The vaccination, you can still die.
No,
No,
this
no.
is all right. It's like incubation, pre-catching COVID is the vaccine. That's the goal of it, to try and get in there before you catch COVID, so that there's no issue. This is, I have COVID and I'm having issues. I need to
Right.
take this pill. Very similar to like the remdesivir, I believe that's
Yeah.
the name of it.
Yeah, but they
Where
give it
it's
to you after
after-
you have it.
You
you're in
can't
the
take
ER.
it before to prevent COVID. That's not going to happen. So prevention is the goal of the government because they'd rather prevent and minimize the spread than have everybody sick and
Than
have
treat.
these pills. and
Because
shit.
most people are saying I will do without it. So because all I'm trying to do is avoid dying. So if you give me a pill, I'll avoid dying. The government's goal is different from what the normal human being's goal is. Their goal is not to die from it, and the government's goal is to prevent you from catching it or spreading it to others. And until they can get that under control, you cannot use a morning after COVID
One of my
pill.
good restaurants, they are not allowing me in because I didn't get vaccinated.
There you go. Don't come here and try to eat. Go
But
home.
guess
cook,
what?
Cook in your kitchen.
I went to do a
Diva.
takeout order, which was against my
Better judgment.
rules. It was against my
She
rules.
set her own rule.
I said, I will not. But I didn't know. The first time I went, I didn't know that
That
you
food
needed
is
it.
good for you to break down.
The first time I went, I didn't know you needed it. But the guy who it's right next to my job. So my client is the general manager. So he gave me my food for free, and it was so good. Then I had to go back
Ooh,
the
they
next
hooked you.
time, and I stayed outside. And I was okay with it because I was on my way here anyways, and they gave me my food for free again. I was like, look at that!
That is fantastic.
That's so nice.
That's nice of them to say, keep your germs and yourself outside.
And your money, keep your germs and your money.
Keep your germy money and your germy
Keep
self
your germs
outside,
and your money.
and we'll give it to you if you just don't come inside.
Hey, you know what? That's a win-win.
Oh,
scenario.
that's free food. Now you're gonna
That's
be going
a
to every
win-win
restaurant and tell me, hey, I haven't been vaccinated. Can I eat outside for free?
Look, I haven't been vaccinated.
You're gonna be like, trick or treat. Why is she here? She's here because she wants free food because she's not vaccinated. No, don't use it as a trick or treat.
No, I actually was gonna pay for it the second time. And
Well, that's
because
the
I mean, I don't. It's all good. I mean, you can eat outside though. You just can't go inside the restaurant.
Well,
But it
people
was
still
raining.
get your vaccine. Don't wait on your morning after pill for this COVID thing. I know they're probably going to approve it because if it works, it works. I mean, they've done the testing.
They may not
And we
approve
need it. We need all the
Let me
help we
tell
can
you
get. Let me
something.
tell you something. We're trying to get back.
They want the people to get the vaccination. They're not gonna approve it.
No, they'll approve
No,
it.
it's going to be approved.
Yeah,
because
they'll
they
approve
know
it.
that they're having a vaccination issue.
Yeah, they do. They know the
still want
numbers of
people
people
to
get it.
like you are still out here trying to kill other folks.
And at a 50% decrease, although
Did you just call me a murderer? That's
Yeah.
why you should be off Twitter.
No, I'm calling you an attempted. You're an attempted murderer.
You gotta come off Twitter.
You're an attempted.
You gotta
murderer.
come off
You're gonna
Twitter.
close my Twitter account.
Yeah.
Speaking of Twitter accounts, that's our next topic. Let's go right into it,
Why
Diva.
not?
Since you drove that train right through there. President Trump, listeners, has sued Twitter, and his
Good
argument.
for you.
Good
I
for
don't-
who?
Trump.
Oh, okay. You mean good for his lawyers? Oh, I'm
Exactly.
sorry. He don't pay.
They so dumb. He don't pay, but they still go back.
He's not paying. That's whatever. Trump has sued Twitter and is arguing in his lawsuit that they violated his First Amendment right by preventing him or shutting down his Twitter account and not permitting him to open back an account so he can incite another insurrection.
Well, first of all, don't you have to be a government entity to?
Bingo! Ding, 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 ding. My diva has just graduated
Whoop, there
from
it is.
the class of First Amendment.
Whoop, there it is.
Okay, listeners, you have to be government entity that is trying to stop someone or violating someone's First Amendment right to freedom of speech. Not only that, freedom of speech is not an unbridled right.
Wait, what is it?
Freedom of speech is not, let me say it slower for your listeners, is not an unbridled right, unlimited right. If you don't understand what unbridled means. Mean it's controlled to a certain
They
extent.
know what unbridled mean. They be wearing them waist trainers.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. Well, since y'all know what unbridled is, according to
That's
my
what they have to-
co-diva.
They have to do that when they go home. They got to unbridle that belly. Let it loose. Ooh, I put on this dress the other
you
day.
ever- and
It
you
was a-
unbridled?
Oh man, I had to tighten up that belly.
You had to unbridle when
And
you
then
took
I
it
had to
off?
unbridle. I was like, oh. Woo. It was
So if you have to unbridle using your Spanx, you know what I'm talking
they
about.
weren't even Spanx. It was a what's the other one
A
called?
girdle?
Yeah. That's a whole girdle. But I look good in that dress, so you couldn't tell me I didn't.
But let's get back to the topic
Okay.
because I know my diva like to say it
Back
all
to the
over
topic at hand.
Freedom of speech is not unbridled, as I stated before. There are limitations on the freedom of speech. And that's why you cannot threaten the president. Because if freedom of speech could allow you to say whatever it is you want, you could pick up the phone and call former Kofifi and threaten him verbally and then say, freedom of speech, I can say whatever I want to say. You can't do that.
I do have a question. for you.
Terroristic threats is a limit on freedom of speech. I cannot threaten you, Diva, to punch you in the face no matter how many days I would like to do so.
So what did he say that was such a threat?
Who said?
Trump.
Let's go down to that Capitol.
He
I'll
didn't say.
meet
He
you-
said that in person.
Hey,
He didn't say that on.
No, he
the,
said it at the.
I know. He
at the
said it in
riot.
person. He didn't say it on Twitter.
Oh, freedom of speech. It doesn't matter where he said it.
I know, but Twitter doesn't have.
No. Remember, he tweeted to his followers to come.
No, I thought he said that on.
No. Remember now, in order to get you to the rally, he's gonna tweet and tell you about the rally.
Right.
So the tweet about the rally was there, and then at the rally, he incited, "Let's go down the street and do it. Let's go down and go to the
That's a
Capitol."
reach.
I don't think that's far-reaching. I think it's dangerous. I think you have. When I was in law school, they used to have a saying: "Power corrupts in absolute. Power corrupts absolutely."
Mm-hmm.
And we got to be careful. We have to guard our speech, especially in this environment where anything goes and everybody's believing everything, and everybody has a platform, and everybody's an expert on everything, and you getting your words on the street. Not from
But you know
your
what?
experts.
But you know what? It's a fine balance, because on the other hand, it's like one of the things that we kind of talked about pre-show was he running for office, and what's the best way to shut down somebody that your political opponent? Like, what if your real motive is we don't want him to be president?
Well,
so
you
let's
know what the
just
good
shut it
news
down.
is? It's not your political opponent that's saying you can't get on Twitter. It's a private business
That's
that
what
can
I'm
determine.
saying. Like, what if
That's
they
like
got? What if they got? Like,
So
we
let me
had
ask
a
you a
whole
question.
bunch of money donated to the Democratic.
Twitter?
Yeah, like what I'm saying, like if it's a board.
You can't speculate. I mean, when you're talking about law, you have to have some
I
evidence.
know
sweetheart.
law.
Yeah.
But we speculate
Evidence?
on the
Why
Diva
would we
court.
want evidence?
We don't need evidence on the Diva
No,
court.
on Diva Court, we do not speculate.
We speculate
We
all day.
are a
But what
Dr.
I'm saying
Fauci
is,
of law, an expert.
No, we not the Dr. Fauci. He all off over the place.
Expert. Okay? Expert in law.
All I'm saying is this: is that it's always some type of scheme or interior motive.
No, ma'am. If we were blocking him on Twitter and there was no insurrection, I'd go with you on that. But your conduct has to have consequences. And but for his conduct, you had people in the Capitol screaming, "Hang Mike Pence! Hang
not funny.
your vice president!"
It's not funny.
Come on now. You had a woman that was trying to beat down a door that was shot in the face by a federal marshal because she didn't care what was going on. Her president told her to enter that Capitol. You had somebody walking through the Capitol screaming, "Nancy! Oh, Nancy, where are you? Are you serious? Oh, no. No. We cannot allow you, sir, to get on any platform. Take out your megaphone or your megaphone and
Oh, I gotta throw this at you. I heard this somewhere. I
On
don't
the
want to say in the
streets.
street. In the
because that's where
streets.
that
I heard
diva
this in the streets.
gets her news.
If you have a big enough platform, like, for example, TV, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
the cable lines and things like that. If you are like a sole monopoly over those things, and it gives access to the public, isn't there some, you know what I'm talking about, like some wiggle room in there where they do have to abide by certain government standards? Do you know what I'm talking about?
They do. And if you're talking about discriminatory acts, they're not allowed to discriminate. So here's what they can't do. I have a platform and I say, no blacks allowed on my platform. You can't do that. That would be a violation of federal law that says you cannot discriminate. Now, if you have a platform and you say, no children allowed because I'm going to cuss like a sailor, that's not discrimination against children. You understand what I mean? It's just like even in a courtroom when they have situation where children were being precluded from coming into a courtroom, period. Judges were doing that across the state of Georgia. And the issue got to the Supreme Court and they came back and said, hold on a second. You can't just blanketly exclude children from a courtroom. That's a violation. What you have to do is you can exclude a child if the child is disruptive. And that's why you'll find sheriffs will say to you when the child starts either screaming or making noise in a courtroom, ma'am, step outside with the child. You got to leave the courtroom with the child.
You know what? I'm thinking. I kind of you kind of answered my question, but it brought to mind a different question that kind of got answered too. I was more thinking like access. So like everybody has access to public TV, even though it's not ran by the government, but because it can be an emergency situation where, you know, the government has to connect with the people at their home or wherever, like telephone lines, and even though they're privately ran, the public has the ability to have access to this. That is, you know,
access.
you know what I'm talking about?
Once again, access is not unbridled.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So you could not say this child needs access to that porn. you can't say that.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Because there has to be limitations, and as a society, because we want to make sure that there's not pandemonium and we have some type of moral fiber in our being, we control that. Now I know you can't regulate morality, but we regulate access to things that we think is immoral, such as strip clubs, such as alcohol in certain places, and such as, you know, touching of individuals in certain and adult entertainment facilities. But you're not denied access globally. Like, they didn't just get up and say Donald Trump cannot have access to any type of media. There had to be something that occurred. Because let me tell you something. He had tweeted some ridiculous stuff before that. You know that.
Like
right?
Kofi?
I mean, and he, Kofi, I wish it were. You know, he was making comments about she's bleeding from her whatever, you know, referring to a woman's cycle. And I mean, he went out on the ledge. And what they're saying is the last ledge you went out on caused somebody to die. And could have caused more deaths. And you were doing it specifically to disrupt the United States government process. He really should have been charged. And I actually believe had he been President Obama, they would have charged him. I think they would have charged him.
I don't think they probably wouldn't have charged. That would set a precedent.
No, they would have set an example, and they would have said, next black president you think you want to vote for, this one's serving federal time.
You know, the cool thing is that my daughters only know, well, the cool and bitter thing is that my daughters know Obama, which is cool.
Because he was so classy.
And
so
then
classy.
Trump and Biden, which not so cool. You know.
Very classy.
Obama.
But I don't think Donald Trump's lawsuit's going to go anywhere, because it cannot. You cannot have.
Is it going to go to the same place that
the other lawsuit went?
Sidney Powell
Maybe Sidney filed that one.
and
for you,
Lynn
sir.
Wood's lawsuit?
Maybe after they went to some of those classes where they took professional ethics,
They started,
learned something.
This is something that we can do
Absolutely.
for
Let's go.
Trump.
So I don't see him winning this.
Question. So he did it in Florida. Do you think that the federal district court in Florida may find some bias and allow it to go forward? Or will they kind of stick to the principles the precedent that's set forth, which is a private company?
I think they're going to stick with the precedent. To open Pandora's box for a quack like Trump, I don't see them doing it. Maybe somebody else that they think was valuable and had a chance, snowball's
Right, DeSantis.
chance to win the presidency that he's trying to go for. I don't see anybody. There was somebody wrote a book. I think she was out this week on Good Morning America. I can't remember her name, but she said it was a mistake to have worked for the Trump. It was a mistake for Trump to have become president because he did not help this country. He divided this country in a way where she doesn't think we could ever reunite again. We're divided.
I think he was excellent at what he did, so you can see people for who they really
No.
are.
What he did is he exposed a lot of the flaws
Yeah.
that people were pretending
That
not
didn't
exist. Such as the judicial system and the racial divide in this country and the disparate treatment of people of color and all of that good stuff. He was good for that but for George Floyd's situation too, and I think Trump played a role in that. I don't think that a lot of the anchors that I'm seeing now take a lead role on television networks that they've worked on for years would have even gotten some of those jobs. And sometimes I get frustrated because I don't think they recognize that somebody like George Floyd had to die for them to be anchor and for them to get offers now to sit up front instead of in the back. You know, now they can report from the chair instead of from the streets. Yeah. Instead of from coming back to you in the studios, Rick. You know what I mean? You no longer have to do that. You're anchoring a show now. You are qualified to do that. So I don't think they're giving,
enough credit.
Yeah, it's like the shoulders. When
He
you
was
hear some
right. He
people
was
do
a great
speech,
president to open up Pandora's box.
He opened up Pandora's. I don't know about great now. When he was great president in that, I think
He was great at causing
Let me tell you what
unnecessary trouble.
Let me tell you what I would say about him. Out of evil come good. When I was coming up, that's what they would say. Oh, don't worry about it. When something bad happens to you, they'd be like, oh, out of evil gonna come good. So, something good has to come of it.
That's a Bible
and
verse.
something good. And what scripture, ma'am?
It's what
In the book of...
it's in
the book of-
Romans.
You're
With
going to have a lot of fact checking
the
to do when you come back.
devil meant for evil.
That's a different
All things
statement.
according to his will are good.
Oh my gosh, you sound like
Something
Medea.
I have to look that one up too.
I heard Medea quote scripture and I was like, oh, and the whale swallowed Jonah and somebody swallowed.
I can't be messing up the word of the God of the Lord.
That's what
of
you
the
just
Heavenly
did. That's what
Father.
you just did.
I apologize. I tried to drop something.
No, you just put a bunch of scriptures together
I did.
and jumbled it. Scripture scrabble. That was what.
I see we ain't talking about what I sent you to talk about.
Next topic. Moving right
It didn't even
along.
make the list.
This show, pre-show is when it would have made the list, not mid-show.
Oh,
Thank you very
man.
much. Next time, keep up with your stuff, and then you can
I
get your
sent the
stuff.
text message.
No, pre-show is where you would mention.
You don't
but
want to talk about Joe Biden?
I'm not talking
Never
about
want
Joe
to talk
Biden.
about Joe Biden.
You know what? You want to talk about Joe Biden? Let's talk about Joe Biden. What would you like to talk about with Joe Biden?
So
And your facts better be right, because I'm not giving you no
I'm just
time to
skimming.
check it this time.
I'm skimming.
You got a checklist of facts.
So, word in the New York Times, credible source, Joe Biden signed a bill to extend the government timeline. You know what I'm talking about, right? Because the government was about to shut down. And the only reason why he did that was to give money to Afghanistans who are moving into the U.S.
Wait.
6.5 million.
Wait.
Did you hear about that?
We got to pull up.
65 million.
We got your numbers are all over the place,
Is
but
it
that's
65
okay.
million? 65 million.
So
It's
hold
not
on a second.
6.5. It's
Are
65
you inferring that the only reason
Not the only way.
that President Biden
Not the only
signed a bill to keep the government running for a temporary period, because I don't think it's only to extend it so that they can try to reach an agreement with Congress. But you don't think he wanted the federal employees to get paid and to go to work,
No.
and for the military people who are
That's not
actually
that's not what I'm
serving their
saying.
country to get their checks?
I'm just saying, like, it sounds a little pork belly-ish to me.
So did the New York Times give you the pork belly, or are you just cooking it up yourself?
No, the New York Times said that in that bill, Afghanistan's will come to the U.S. and 65 million or billion, whatever the number is, million, billion, it's like $65 to them, is going to go towards their resettlement.
Okay, so we're trying to find somewhere else to put them. Is that
Right.
what you're saying?
I don't have a problem with them coming here. My issue is that why are we still researching what we can do for blacks?
Okay.
I'm just
So are you making the point that Biden did
still
not
ain't-
do enough for the Haitians because 2,000 of them was
He didn't-
returned?
He
Didn't
ain't
do
do nothing for the Haitians.
Okay.
Yes, he did. He put them back on the plane to the government that was terrorizing them.
Okay.
After, if this is the right country that I'm thinking about, wasn't it the CIA? Wasn't it the Americans who was over there killing the president? Didn't the president die or something like that? Didn't
There
somebody
was an
kill the president?
assassination
Yes.
of the Haitian president.
And they thought it was American troops that had something to do with it?
No.
They didn't do
They
that?
think a U.S. citizen was involved.
Like a CIA agent?
I don't know about that. I don't think he was seeing IN or AN.
But all I'm saying is that y'all don't see the injustice.
No, let me tell you what I see. I disagree with Biden and his handling of the Haitians. Okay? You hear that? Let me say it again. Let me say,
Say
it
it
again.
loud.
I disagree with how President Biden handled the Haitian immigrants. I
What did he do
totally
to 'em?
disagree.
What did he do to him?
Here's what I think he should have done. Instead of allowing them to stay under a bridge and birth babies and do all those things out there in the hot sun and have people chasing them on horseback like they did during slavery, he should have found a facility, placed the individuals in a facility temporarily, provide them food, and give them an opportunity to seek TPS. But let me tell you why those people came a-running across that border. Somebody, and I find this suspect, and I'm not saying Republicans, it's you, I'm just saying it's suspect, told the Haitians who were settled in other countries awaiting a TPS application process to the United States, were told that the U.S. is cutting off TPS for them, temporary protective status. That caused a pandemic. What did it cause? It caused the same rush you get when you tell Georgians it's gonna snow tonight. Everything off the shelf in the grocery store is gone, including things that people don't eat or drink. Okay? So what happened
the Vienna
is
sausages.
like the Vienna sausages that nobody likes. But my point is, had that rumor not got spread, or had that rumor not been spread to the people, to the Haitian people, they would have stayed settled where they were. Some of them were in South America. Some of them were in South America. Some of them were in Mexico. They were spread out. But somebody, and I'm suspecting somebody who wanted Biden to botch this opportunity, knowing that he was distracted, knowing
that he's not good at handling problems.
Think about it now. We got a $3 trillion budget that we're trying to pass for infrastructure, and when we say include computers in it for the children that are in lower income neighborhoods, who are those? Usually black or children of color. They said, Republicans are saying, that's not infrastructure, that's computers. It is infrastructure, because if the child has to work because of COVID from home, they need Wi-Fi. And if their parents can't afford the internet, they have to sit outside on the front lawn next to a school bus that we put a Wi-Fi on, a hotspot. So that's part of the holdup, is that the argument from the Republicans is that Biden is trying to include things like free college tuition. Who do you think gonna take advantage of free college tuition?
How about erase the college debt?
Well, take your time, sweetheart. Rome wasn't built in a day.
It's always take your time. It's always
Take
what
your
you're
time.
not. But he's just handing out
So let me ask you a
to everybody
question.
else.
Do you find it suspect that the Haitians would have been told that if you don't get across that border right now, they're going to shut down TPS and you're not going to be able to do TPS in the United States? You don't find that suspect?
So I just got to did you get that word from the street?
Did you find that suspect?
I mean,
Before you find out where the word came from. Can you tell me if you think the word is suspicious before I tell you where I think it came from?
I definitely feel it's suspect.
Remember now, these are not people coming straight from Haiti, because that border is not at Mexico. Geography does not put Haiti.
Cubans came straight from Cuba. They just wet foot, dry foot.
Geography. Wet foot, dry foot is gone. Obama got rid of that. Thank you very much. But not only that, my point is, for those people that have already been settled somewhere, not under a bridge, where they were getting meals and they had shelter, to jump up and cross and jump in waters and take their babies and put them on their backs and trying to make it to the United States because somebody told them that if they didn't hurry up and get across that border, TPS would no longer be available to them. Remember that majority of them not coming from Haiti, you know that.
No, I get what you're saying.
So,
but they knew
I think he botched it.
Yeah, they knew he wasn't going to be able to handle it.
Of course he can't handle that.
Where's Kamala?
She's vice president.
She can't. Where's the alley hoop?
Did you ask for Vice President Pence?
He did his job.
What was it?
Not a damn thing. I ain't got nothing to do with this. That's all on you.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, but that's the leadership that I don't know no black woman who's gonna just sit there and let things fall apart. The black women I know, they stand up and they get things done.
You know what the problem is? You know what the problem is? The president has to operate with congressional involvement.
Didn't she? No. He told her to go down there to the border.
To do what? Give a speech?
I don't know.
Okay, that's my point. Remember,
Oh, so
for
he
your
limited
president,
power?
a lot of people talk about president. When you become president, you know that's when you realize you're not the most powerful man in the
Oh,
world.
I understand that.
Because Congress is the most powerful people in the world. Why do you think people 80 years old don't want to give
If
up
you-
that power?
If you're responsible, you understand. You're
That's
not
true.
the
You have to be
most-
responsible. According to Trump, he's a president. He can do whatever he
Well,
wants
I
to do.
mean, Joe Biden was in the Senate for a long ass time.
But he wasn't there by himself.
That's not what I'm going.
That's my
That's not
point.
where I'm going. I was going with he had a lot of power in Congress, and he
You
decided
don't
to
get
become
power in
president.
Congress by yourself, sweetheart. If
I
I elect you
understand that, but-
tonight to represent Georgia,
What I'm
Do you
saying
think you
is,
can go there and
he
get a bill
made
passed?
decision to go with. He knows who has the power, but he made a decision to go to become the president.
my point exactly. So
Which
he's
means,
still
what you doing
doing.
it for?
He's not saying I don't want to do my job. He's not saying I'm a tweet, I'm a
He
Twitter, I'm
can't
play
do
golf.
the job.
That man- how many times have you seen that man playing golf?
I haven't seen him do one
Oh,
thing
okay.
right. Let
Have
me say
you
that.
seen him play golf?
He too old.
Are you serious? Have you ever seen the golfers?
I have seen him. He looked like Tales from the
Excuse
Crypt.
me. Do you realize golf is not a young man's sport?
No, what I'm saying is he looked like Tales from the Crypt. Like if he was to go out there, he got heat stroke in
Do
2
you
seconds.
realize that golf is not a young man's sport?
I understand that.
Okay.
He don't. There's not
So-
enough sunscreen to help him out.
Look here, the man don't need
He gone.
sunscreen. The man is blue, okay? Blue, like his
He's showing
veins.
all them
But
veins.
the point still remains that there's limitations on what you can do as president. You don't have unbridled power. Trump had to learn that the hard way.
Don't he look uncooked though?
Uncooked, like a chicken.
That's raw. Biden look like he raw.
They don't, he's not putting on his orange cream. I will
Maybe-
call him.
maybe that's what it
I will
is.
tell him to tweet Trump
Please.
and ask
him
Trump
borrow some or
to borrow
something.
some orange cream
'Cause he look-
so he can rub some orange cream on himself.
Oh,
Because if you
that's
think
good.
Trump wasn't rubbing orange cream on himself,
most definitely.
you must be kidding.
Most
All right,
definitely.
so I say Trump's lawsuit is dead in the water,
Mm-hmm.
just like his lawyers are.
And just like Biden's presidency, it's dead.
Awful. You're not running. Sit down. We don't want to hear from you. Thank God for Twitter that cut you off. Thank God for YouTube that cut you off. Why are you not suing all the other people, by the way? Sue them all at the same time.
One time.
No. Why
one
wait?
step at a
Why
time.
wait?
That's the
Everybody.
attorney. The attorney
all
said,
at once.
Pay for this first case first. sir."
Pay for this first case. He didn't pay for that one, nor the other ones. I don't think that lawsuit's going anywhere. You don't have unbridled First Amendment rights. People, you cannot run into a movie theater and shout fire. They will arrest you for inciting a riot. Please do not shout that you're going to punch anybody in the face, because that's terroristic threats, and it's not freedom of speech that allows you to say that. Don't do it. It's not unbridled. Freedom of speech also has to be violation of your freedom of speech has to be based on government action.
Right.
Twitter is not a government entity. It's a private entity. Let it go. Ahmaud Arbery motions in the state of Georgia. The defense listeners filed motions to include at trial Ahmaud Arbery's mental health diagnosis. First of all, it was not a diagnosis. He visited a facility and a nurse assessed him. Right? So they wanted the nurse's assessment, not the diagnosis now, not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. A nurse, a psych nurse, assessed him because mom was concerned about what's going on with my kid. You understand something? No, not all the elevator.
So she didn't have the credentials to give him a
She did not have the
diagnosis.
credentials to give a diagnosis. But the defense in the Ahmaud Arbery case filed a motion before the court asking the court to permit them to bring that in at trial. The judge said, no, not happening. Good ruling, judge. Kudos to you. You got it right. That information is, one, not known to these defendants prior to the incident. So there's no way they could have been defending themselves because they knew he was mentally ill, because they did not. Okay? Second issue is it's more prejudicial than it is probative. Listeners, what that means is all it's going to do is cause the jurors to get confused regarding who's the victim here. Okay? It is clear that Ahmaud Arbery was not trying to carjack anyone while he was jogging down that street. Unfortunately, thanks to Roddy, one of the co-defendants, they have video footage of what took place. Had there not been that spectacular footage, and had his Barney Fife attorney not think it was a good idea to produce that, okay, that would not have occurred. The second motion they filed, which was denied by the court, excellent decision by the judge again, was a motion to include his prior involvement with law enforcement, prior arrest and all that good stuff. Judge says, sorry, because you didn't know about
They didn't know.
So you could not have been self-defense. Not only that, you could not have been executing a citizen's arrest, because in order to execute a citizen's arrest under Georgia law at that time, of course it's been overturned now by Governor Kemp.
Kudos to you, Governor Kemp.
No comment, Governor Kemp.
You already said
But-
kudos a long time ago.
But
Episode.
no, I said he did a good thing. I said
Right.
he did a good thing. It was a good thing to overturn that, because people think they could just jump up on folk and say, come here, let me lock you up. That's not going to work. Citizen's arrest under Georgia law requires that you witness the crime. So I have to see him break into that empty house that was being built in order to say I was effecting a citizen's arrest.
Right.
These defendants in the Ahmaud Arbery case did not even know Ahmaud was in that house. They saw footage of him in the house after the fact. So they could not have been doing any type of citizen's arrest, because one, they didn't even know he was in that empty house that was being built, which is the footage you saw that was aired of him looking around like everybody else who came to the house going, something's being built, being nosy. We've all been nosy at some property that we've seen being built before, looking around, trying to see what's going on, what the builders are doing, and what's coming into the neighborhood. So the judge, I honor you, Your Honor, for denying the defense's motion to include Ahmaud's mental health. I honor you, Your Honor, for excluding any prior interactions that he had with law enforcement, because it's not necessary. Now, I don't agree with the state. There's one thing the state's wanting to do, and is allow to come in at trial that they had on a Confederate flag on the front plate of their vehicle.
Right.
I think that's irrelevant. I think there's enough evidence here to convict them. I don't see the need for the state to bring in a piece of evidence that could result in irreversible.
Alienating the jury.
No, but
'Cause
reversible error. There might be other Confederate flag
right.
flyers in the jury pool.
Right, on their cars now. Like, what?
Yeah. You don't want to alienate. That's a
Right.
good point, Diva. Good. We'll drink to that. Look at my Diva using law up in Diva court. Was that sip good?
Yup.
See, who thought you couldn't sip through a mask? The devil is a lie.
Yes, he is.
But I am grateful to the judge for following the law. I hope that the judge excludes that license plate on the front of that vehicle,
There's too many
because I
people in
don't
Georgia
want
who
him
got
to
that.
be overturned for any reason when they get their fair trial and their conviction after their fair trial.
That is true.
And that is episode number 23.
23.
We are grown and sexy.
And me. If you want a sponsor, you can call us. Or we want a sponsor, so you can call us.
That's right. Call us if
23
you want to
and
be
me.
called, like out, shout out to Hey Curl Hey.
Hey, Kurt.
And episode 23 will close on that note, and we'll drink to that. Don't forget, listeners, I'm gonna let her finish her drink before I get to the point. Please look for our episodes every Wednesday. Don't forget to subscribe. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And be sure to catch our videos every Wednesday on YouTube. We push them out. And we will drink to that.
Again.
We got to drink to that.